Welcome to Wine Down with Kev. I am Kevin Spann, the insurance guru, Kevin Spann, the Allstate agent. And today I'm very excited to be here. We are wrapping up our Phenomenal Woman series. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, we have a phenomenal woman to present to you today. So while we do our introductions, make yourself comfortable. You should be in convenience of your own home. Get a glass of wine, settle in, and get ready for a great conversation. And by the way, if you post in the comments what you're drinking, your Chardonnay, your Moscato, whatever you will have a chance to win a free bottle. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further delay, let me introduce to you our guest, Miss Lauren Granger. Welcome, Lauren. So happy to have you here today.
Thank you.
Good. Lauren, let's open up by you telling the people a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay, a little bit about myself. Well, my name is Lauren. I am born and raised North Babylon, technically West Babylon, but North Babylon schools. First and foremost, I'm a mother to a beautiful, smart, intelligent, brilliant little 1-year-old,
Nice.
August. A little about myself. I am a go-getter. I am, when I use the word extra, I'm a lot. I can be a lot.
That's okay. To be a phenomenal woman, you have to be a
lot.
lot. Talk about it.
I'm smart. I'm educated. I am a daughter. I am a sister. As I said, I'm a mother. I'm a good friend. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'd say that's me. That is me.
I love it. I love that you started there and you did a great job of defining all of your roles, because that's what a woman has to do. You have to be all that.
Yep.
And a bag of chips, they used to say back in the day. Yep. And definitely a shout out to August. She's not only my grandson Mason's best friend, she's his only friend. So if you ask him, who's your friend? August. Yep. August. So they took some really cute pictures together. Yeah. Lauren, on one hand, I want to jump right into GLG Contracting, because what you do is so unique, not only to me, but the audience as well. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about your formal background. Let's talk about your education and some jobs you've done prior to starting GLG Contracting.
Okay, so education I'll start with. As I said, I went to North Babylon. I attended Geneseo University, which is a SUNY school upstate New York. Culture shock, I will say that, but phenomenal experience, great education. As far as work experience, so I came home and I originally, you come home from college, you're not sure what you want to do. So my first job outside or out of school was working for the state with individuals who have disabilities. Okay. And I actually enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, but it wasn't what I wanted to do, forever. It wasn't what I wanted to do forever. So I reached out to a woman who I don't think I thanked her for this, Teresa Sanders. I reached out to her because she, at the time, she is the president of the Urban League of Long Island. Okay. And I said, if you know of any opportunities, let me know. She said, well, as a matter of fact, we have something. So from that 21 years old, I was direct managing a team of 3 individuals and then overseeing a team of over 250 for this program called the Mature Workers Program. So that was my first real job. I'll say that. That was my first real job, and I had my own office. 21 years old, I thought I was hot stuff.
Okay, so you dropped the jewel right there that I can't just let resonate. So ladies, young ones that's tuning in, bring the young ones to the phone. The first segue that you made, you were doing a job that you didn't necessarily love. Maybe you weren't passionate about it. Happy to have, but not passionate. Right. But you made a phone call that many people don't make. You tapped into your network and you let it be known to someone that if there's something else out there, I would like to do it. How did you get that networking skill? Who taught you to ask that question to let it be known that you're available?
So what's funny is I have a younger sister
Okay.
So she did a program. She was studied abroad for about 2 years. And one of the things she said to me, I remember when she was studying abroad, and I'm older than her, so this is when I was in the job that, again, I enjoyed working for the state. It just wasn't what I wanted to do forever. I remember she was saying to me, reach out to your network and tell them you're available, and reach out to the people that you aspire to be. It doesn't matter how high up they are. Reach out to who you aspire to be. And then another thing she said, which I used in all of my interviews, when I used to interview often, was I'm like a sponge. So I will absorb whatever you're teaching me. I'm like a sponge. So I took that and ran with it. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Lindsay.
Shout out.
But that's who gave me that gem.
Shout out to Lindsay, the younger sister. I have a funny younger sister story that I hope I remember that I'll share with you. I have to say it now because I'll forget.
Yep.
I'm listening to a book right now by Shonda Rhimes.
Okay.
The Year of Yes. And Shonda Rhimes is the youngest of 6 children. Right. And she's that one in her family that has obviously done some amazing things. I think Shonda Rhimes goes without introduction. I don't have to talk about all the things she's written for, but she talked about that experience. So shout out to Lindsay for sharing with Big Sis how to network, because people, that's everything right there. And if you're taking notes, say it one more time about talk to who you aspire to be. How did you say that?
Reach out to the people that you aspire to be. And I mean, if it's as small as, not as small as, but take them out to lunch and just ask questions. Let them know if what you're looking for. If you think you're the best person for that position, or if you think that you want to be afforded the opportunity, if they know of anything that's available to make you become like them.
That's so awesome. Quiet don't cut it. There's no quiet. You have to speak up for yourself, and you have to ask for the opportunity. So you go from the state to a massive leadership opportunity.
Yes.
You're leading 200 people. Where do we go from there?
So from the Urban League, then I started working for an insurance company. And I'll be honest, the only reason I left the Urban League, which, again, that was a phenomenal experience. I mean, what I learned and what it pretty much turned me into, you can't just learn that. That's not something, we talked about this earlier. You don't learn that in school. So the experience I got, I can't, I guess, thank her enough for allowing me to do that, but it wasn't something that I was going to get from a book. It wasn't something I was going to get from the state. It was something that I was in a leadership role at a young age, and it gave me confidence to be able to say, well, I can do this somewhere else also. So awesome. That said, I ended up getting the position, an insurance position, which the reason I took it is because of the money. I'm very motivated by
no apology. Let's talk about those green dollar bills. Yeah. This is America, and we love the opportunity to get as much as those green dollars as we can possibly get. So you come into insurance, you spend some time there.
Yes.
Okay. And what comes next?
So health insurance, and I still actually do that. So health insurance, I specifically work with individuals with Medicare. That said, it got to a point where I just got really good at it, and I had a lot of free time. When you're given in a sales position, I was in a sales position with health insurance, and you're given a quota to meet every month. So I was meeting my quota very early in the month, and then it's kind of like, okay, I'll kind of relax the rest of the month, but I'm not the kind of person that can just sit still, so being that I had all that free time, that's when I decided to get my real estate license. So I got my real estate license, and the initial purpose was just for me to purchase my own house. I figured, you know what? Why not learn how to do it so I can buy my own house myself? And that was my next job.
So let me get a time out there. Where does that thought process come from? Most people would just call an agent and just go through the process of buying it. What triggered you to say, let me get a license so I could buy my own house?
I don't know. I guess I just feel like, and this is not a good thing all the time. I just feel like I can do anything. I really have that mentality that I can do anything, and I'm going to try it. And if it doesn't work, then I'll hire somebody. But I tried it, and I bought my own house.
I'm not mad at you. And those you taking notes, write that down right there. I can do anything. That's an awesome attitude. It's an awesome energy, and it's an awesome spirit to have about yourself, and to be a go-getter. To you're working and doing well in one field, and you go get another license in another field, and you move forward and you buy your own house. Why? Because you can do that as good as anyone, and you're still active, you still have your real estate license, and you're absolutely helping people with that as well.
Yes. So then from there, now people started to find out Lauren has her real estate license. So, I have a pretty robust, I'll say, network of friends, we'll say, that, we at the same time, we were all at that point where we're going to buy our first home. So I was getting a lot of phone calls, helping a lot of friends. But it's tough. On Long Island, it is not an inexpensive place to live.
It's very expensive to live on Long Island, as most of the listening audience will know. So I'll tell you a funny story. One of the standards, for those who don't know, Lauren is very good friends with my son, Kevin. And as Kevin was out of college and pursuing his hoop dreams and pursuing his insurance career and different things that he was interested in. Actually, you motivated him to get a real estate license as well. But one of the things I would talk to him about, I would say, Doc, who do you know that's under 30 that has two things, their own car and their own place? And guess who he knew? You. So you were that person for him. So when it came time for him to buy his house, who did he come to? He came to you.
To me. Yep.
Absolutely. So very inspirational. The things that you're doing, you're obviously inspiring others in your network and outside of your network. You get your real estate license, and now you have family, friends, people in your network. They're looking. So obviously they're going to come to you. So today we're going to talk about a lot about GLG Contracting, because that's why you're here. That's why you're part of the Phenomenal Woman series, because you're doing something that's different. It's a little bit strange to me that here in 2021, we're so far, but there are still a lot of industries and fields that a lot of women are not in. I would say the contracting industry is one of them. Absolutely. So, Lauren, how did you get here?
Okay, so contracting. So I'll say real estate did lead me to contracting, and I say that because being that Long Island is not it's expensive. Bottom line is the taxes. It's very expensive to live here, but a lot of people want to live here. So what I was working with people that were looking for rehab homes. So in order to purchase a rehab home, you have to have a contractor that can do the work, because the bank, when you purchase a rehab home, the bank is going to give the money to the contractor. And, the majority of the people that I did work with real estate are personal friends, and they were getting in situations where the contractors were flaky, or they, weren't keeping they weren't sticking to the agreed upon terms, or they had to, they were asking for more money. So I saw how much of a hassle it was. And being the person that I am, well, if he can do that, I can do that. I said, you know what? Let me just become a contractor.
There it is. That I can do anything attitude. The same thing that drove you to get your real estate license also drove you to start your own contracting company, so you can better take care of those in your network, so they wouldn't get beat on these houses, because people are buying for different reasons, right?
Yes.
You're buying a fixer-upper because you can afford it. Maybe you're going to get into flipping houses, buying investment properties, and that's one thing people have to think about. Yes, it's a great house. Maybe it's the worst house on the best block, but it's what I can afford. It's the school district that I want, but maybe you're all thumbs like me. I can't fix anything. I'm not ashamed of that. That's not my skill set. But you have the can-do spirit, and you start a GLG Contracting. 2 questions. What does GLG stand for, and when did you actually start it?
Okay, so funny story. Well, I do want to say one thing. When it came to the contracting company, originally I did it to help friends purchase houses and do the renovations without them having the hassle of dealing with contractors they couldn't trust or didn't really know. I would be remiss if I did not say I owe a lot of this to my significant other, Frank, because he is the one who put that application in my hand and said, get your license. So that was in 2000 and the end of 2000, the beginning of 2018. So I've had the license for, what are we in, 21?
21, yes.
Yeah. So 3 years, and the name, okay. So once again, Lauren thinks she can do everything. I went on to LegalZoom. So I contacted Suffolk County to find out what the process was to apply for a home improvement license, to be a home improvement general contractor. And once I got all that information, I went to LegalZoom and I went through all the paperwork. The name was LG Contracting, Lauren Granger Contracting. Everything got approved. I was at the last step, and then I received a letter stating that name is already taken.
Wow.
So I had a day to figure out what I wanted to do. I said, you know what? I'll add a G in front of it. Now, the reason I say it's funny is because these are actually my father's initials.
Let's go.
So, but I didn't do it on purpose, but I'm happy that
Nice.
these are his initials. So that's where the name came from.
Awesome. And you are Daddy's girl. So funny story, people. I was going to get to this later, but it came up now. Lauren is the contractor that right now is in the process of renovating my basement, doing an amazing job. Very, very happy. If you want to see the pictures, follow Lauren on GLG Contracting on Instagram. Not only my basement, but she does a great job of posting her befores and afters, so you can see what some of her work looked like before and what it looked like after. So I wanted to tell the girl dad story, or the daddy's girl story, because while working on my basement, your dad came over to kind of look at your work, and he's been back a few times. And the smile, that proud papa look on his face that I'm familiar with it, he was just cheesing all over the place. He was ecstatic. Mm-hmm. Now, was Dad a contractor?
He can do everything. So yes, I'll say he is, because he can do everything.
Okay.
But my dad is retired, so he wants to do what he wants to do. But he can do everything. And I will say, after coming to your basement, maybe the second time, he's just started renovating his entire basement. So I think it's going to look exactly like your basement.
Now, did he hire you?
Well, he's doing I can do it myself from him. So he is doing everything himself. And then there's going to be a point where he's going to say, hey, Laura, give me the tile guy's information, so.
Okay. So I've never dropped a come on, man, or a come on, son on this. But Mr. Granger, come on, son. Come on, man. Let your daughter live. She's excellent. So, Lauren, I'm going to jump right in. I've been in my house for 20 years. Yep. Never finished my basement. We had some issues with water and stuff like that. That was resolved. And I've talked to many contractors over the years about my desire to do this. And we'd always have a conversation, but we never make any progress at all.
Right.
So people, this is why Lauren has the contract to do my basement. I had a contract with Lauren about 11 o'clock. We walked through my basement. I told her what I wanted to do. And by 12, she was back, and my basement was chalked up. She did lines, and Kevin, you want this, you want that, you want a bathroom, you want a bedroom, you want this, that, and it was chalked up. And you brought my vision to reality that I can see it. I really could see what I was thinking about doing, and you brought it to reality, and it's been all wonderful progress since then, because when you have a vision, and taking nothing away from people I talked to and tried to do it. Right. But if people don't jump on it, you think you're a little bit crazy that you see something that can't be done, or people are quick to point out the obstacle as opposed to the opportunity.
Right.
You showed the opportunity. So you chalk out the basement, and a week later you have blueprints on my wall. I'm like, hey, this is actually going to take place. This is going to happen. There's been nothing but wonderful ever since. So I mentioned your IG page, that you have a lot of wonderful pictures. Is there a favorite project that you've done, and a favorite contracting thing that you've done?
Yeah, well, of course, I love your project,
Okay.
100%. But I'll say my favorite is actually this. We turned a two-piece bathroom, so it was just the sink and toilet, into a three-piece bathroom. And as small as it was, I want to say it was, oh man, I'm going to exaggerate here. I know it was maybe 8 by 8. It was very small. But that was my favorite project because it was, you ever see the show Tiny House?
Yes.
Okay, so it was like I had to think outside of the way I usually think, but it was so beautiful. At the end, it came out so beautiful. Selden, that was in Selden. So that was my favorite of all the projects I did. Even though it was the smallest, it was my favorite because I didn't think it was possible until it was done.
Everything is impossible until it's possible. So
Right.
here's that spirit and here's that attitude again. I love it. It's so amazing that you chose the smallest project, not the biggest one, not the one you made the financial gain, but because it seems so challenging.
Right.
And that probably fulfills something inside you. So you mentioned that bathroom.
Yes.
I was doing my due diligence, my research, which is limited to you scrolling your IG and seeing what's there.
Yeah.
I saw a beautiful kitchen that you did as well.
Okay. We did quite a few kitchens. So you're probably talking about 9th Street. Was it white?
I don't know. Yes, it was white.
Okay, so yeah.
It was a
the
black
white.
and white, but the white was dominant. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, the kitchens, I mean, when it comes to kitchens, I think I'll say my specialty might be kitchens only because, or I can't even, my specialty is everything. But with kitchens, as long as the client is willing to say, okay, just, you have free range. Of course, the client makes the final decision. You can rearrange and create whatever vision you want to. So the farmhouse sink, that's one of our signature items now. I talked you into the glass shower door.
Yes.
The
Yes.
signature item. Things like that, just those become the focal pieces. So I believe that's the kitchen you're referring to with the farmhouse sink.
Yes, absolutely. So let's stop right there.
Yeah.
For those of us, including me, that doesn't know what a farmhouse sink
Okay.
is, let's give a description to the people so they can
Okay.
visualize it.
So a farmhouse sink, usually sinks are flush. If you're standing in front of the sink, the countertop and the sink is flush. The farmhouse sink comes out.
Okay.
So it's sort of not even an inch, maybe a half of an inch. It comes out, but it just gives it's deep, it's big. It's like a farmhouse sink. You just think of it like the old sinks used to wash clothes in.
Okay.
But on a smaller scale, and
Okay.
usually they can be stainless steel, they can be porcelain. I've seen all types. I've seen gold ones that were like not steel. Maybe it was steel, but yeah, farmhouse sinks can come in all different shapes, all different sizes, and they're just a bit bigger than a regular sink.
And it really changes your look. So people that have been in your houses like me for 20 years and
Yeah.
you're not going to move, but you want to change the look.
Yeah.
I think you can tell just by her answers. We have no scripts in her hand. She's not looking at notes. This is real experience. I love talking to people that can talk off the cuff because to me as a consumer, that validates that you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing, and it just gives me confidence in people. I love working with people that know what they're doing. So, Lauren, I want to have some fun with you and talk about your leadership as well. I'm having fun watching you lead your workers. And it is fun because you have a healthy mixture of men that work with you, younger, older men, but they are under your tutelage and your direction. How does working with men as a contractor, and you have a variety of specialists, floor guys, painters, how does this experience as the owner of your small business compare maybe with the corporate side?
Okay, so it's entertaining. I'm going to start by saying that it's entertaining. And it's entertaining because, there's a bigger picture at the end of the tunnel. So I will say with this particular industry, one, anyone, everyone who works with GLG Contracting, when I tell you it's a family, this is not my business. This is our business.
Okay.
Because the reality is I'm not the person laying the tile. I'm not the person who's going to be laying the floor. I'm not physically doing the manual labor. I'm just organizing it,
Okay.
and I'm making sure I have the right person to do the job. But everyone has their own personality. Okay, and in addition to that, these are not inexperienced tradespeople. So everyone thinks that they do everything the best, and it's comical because again, I can see the bigger picture. And how is it different? Well, there's no suits. There's no suits. It's I do enjoy this much more because I guess people can just be more themselves. Okay. They're just more themselves, and I think I really enjoy this, like managing this type of field versus the corporate world. Because not to say any of my other jobs weren't like a family, but the fact that everyone who works for GLG understands my vision, and it's essentially they're supporting me. They're making my dreams come true. That's the best feeling in the world. There's no better feeling than that, than having people support you and go hard for you, to get to make your vision. And of course, my job is to make sure to keep everybody happy too, so I have to kind of listen to the complaining and you know what, you're right. You could have did it better, but we have this person doing it. So, so
I love it. I love it. Man, you gave me so many things to go off of there. I'm just trying to figure out which point I'm going to jump in and how we're going to drive forward from there. Long story short, because you've created a family work atmosphere, you're not running into any obstacles with the male ego. You're doing this stuff. I've had times where I've asked someone what's next. They said, I don't know. Lauren's the boss. You got to talk to the boss. I don't know when it's going to happen next. I'm like, excellent. I love it because you have taken charge and it's all moving forward smoothly and I'm not involved. Right. And I absolutely love it. So Lauren, what would you say to young girls that are listening, the daughter that's sitting there with her mother that wants to work in this field? And not let's not start at the top. Let's talk about the trades. So you have, let's see if I can name it. You've got a plumber working there. You've got an electrician, drywaller, floor guy, painters. What would you say to young girls that want to work in these fields as tradespeople? I guess that's the proper term.
I think that, learning how to do something with your hands, like what you just mentioned, whether you know how to do basic carpentry work, like hang sheetrock up, or frame a room, whether you know how to paint properly, whether you know how to lay floors, those are all the types of jobs that are never going to go anywhere. And let's say machines do take it over, they're going to need somebody to program the machine, to know what to know how to do it. So those are all things that I think I wish I'd have paid more attention to, as a kid, because my dad can do all of this stuff. So, he showed us things here and there, but I do wish I did have more experience and took advantage when I was younger versus learning how to do everything now. Because I still do, I get my hands dirty sometimes. It's just, if somebody can do it better than me, I'd rather let them do it. But if you have the opportunity to learn how to do any trade, take advantage, because even if you don't make it a business, if you can fix something in your own home instead of have to hire somebody, why not do that? Something as simple as a leaky sink. Anyone should know how to do that. Young girls, who become women, young boys who become men. You want to be able to take care of your family. So I think it's you should go full speed ahead and take advantage of any trade if you're given the opportunity to learn it.
I agree with you 1,000%. For anybody that knows me personally, you know that I married a tradeswoman, and you know that she can fix everything in our house. And it's hard for me to bring somebody into my house to do anything. So if Lauren's there, you know how good she is. That she absolutely excels at what she does. But that's awesome, and I really like what you said about as we go through this technology transition. Every business is changing. I'm changing. I have to be more digital than I've ever been. Right. I'm very confident the trades will always be there. You'll always need an electrician. You'll absolutely always need a plumber. HVAC people will always work. You'll always need someone to lay floor, and you'll always need someone to frame, hang sheetrock, drywall, and all of that. So any of you that are out there listening, if you're thinking about things you want to do, or if you've had any of these flaky experiences that Lauren is talking about, this is a person that you absolutely want to talk to. Okay,
Definitely.
so Lauren, talk to me about what's next for Lauren Granger and what's next for GLG.
So what's next? I do enjoy doing residential renovations, but there's always a bigger picture. So the bigger picture would be to move on to bigger tasks, which I would say, I don't know, it could go hotels, office buildings, you know, you name it. The next step is, now that we've mastered this type of project, because we've done quite a few, we started with just the bathrooms, the kitchens. Now I'm at a point where we can't take on the smaller jobs, because I don't, we are a family, and I kind of want to keep it, that way, because it just works better that way. So we don't take on too many jobs at any one point, at any given point. And the next is just to go on to just bigger opportunities. So buildings, I would say buildings. Ultimately, I want to own my own building, whatever that building might be, and use my company to renovate the building, and then be able to constantly just make income, because, as I said, I have a daughter now. Everything I do is with her in mind, and I just want to make sure she never needs for anything. I want to create a wealth for her and her kids and their kids, and et cetera.
I love it. And I noticed something that you and I talked about. You guys are a family business right now. Your vision is bigger than your family. So at some point,
Yeah.
you're going to need to have some other people join the family. So if there are people listening to this
Yes.
with skills, maybe teenagers, maybe college students,
Yes.
maybe girls, maybe boys, and they have an interest in doing this work,
Yes.
can they reach out to you? And
Absolutely.
who are you looking for, and who would you like to reach out to you?
Absolutely. So if you have experience, that's great. I mean, we can always use people with experience. But one thing, an initiative that we actually just recently started was, I'll call it an apprenticeship. We have one, possibly two, Khalil, which I love Khalil,
Nice.
two younger kids. So one is 17. I say kids, 17 and 21. So not kids, they're young men. But they are learning from the skilled tradesmen who have been doing it for years. And ultimately, if they decide to continue to move forward with GLG Contracting, that would be amazing, because those are like my brothers now. If they decide to take it on and create their own opportunities, I would absolutely support that as well. But whether you are someone who has no experience or you're someone who has experience, if you're interested in this type of work, please, I'm open to it. I'm absolutely open to it, because, like you said, we are expanding, and we are going to need more hands on deck.
That's a wonderful thing. And you talked about your family. Shout out to Frank and everybody that's in the family. People, these are all licensed union contractors, work for New York City,
Yep.
New York State. They're at the top of their game. They are perfectionists. They ultimately want to do everything right. So definitely happy to hear about the apprenticeship program. I know Khalil very well, and when we get back to the house, I'm going to tell Trey to put an application in
Yes.
as
Sure.
well. He needs to get to work and learn, because
Yeah.
I certainly can't. I certainly can't teach him. So I love everything that you're doing, that you have going, and I like your vision, your aspirational business vision, just to do more. Because guess what? More people are going to need it. There's no end. There's no
Right.
cap on what you can do. And also like the answer, something that people don't learn in business sometimes, is one of the best answers you can give people sometimes is, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Right.
How is that for you, telling someone that? Any issues with saying no to people?
No, I don't think I'm. I really don't have an issue saying no. No. I'm pretty cut straight to the point, cut to the chase. But yeah, I don't think I really haven't been in a position where I had to kind of. I was never. As of recent, I haven't been put in any positions where anyone, I guess, has asked to come on board, and it just
Or
wasn't a good fit.
even a job that I want something fixed that maybe doesn't fit in the scope.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes. I'm sorry. Yes. If we can't, it has to make sense financially. Yes, we are a family. Yes, I love what I do, but it has to make sense financially. So unfortunately, if it comes to someone who just might need, I don't know, just a floor down, or just like a bathroom cleanup, small renovation, I'll absolutely subcontract that out or refer them to somebody who's amazing. But we can't take the smaller jobs right now only because it has to make financially sense for the company.
Absolutely. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. And I think because of what we've just gone through with the pandemic and everything, I think a lot of people are doing exactly what I'm doing, trying to take more advantage of their current living space and do a little bit more at home, because God knows if and when we're going to go back to doing all the things that we used to do outside of our homes.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Lauren, anything else at all that I didn't ask you that you wanted to tell the people about you, about GLG? Oh, I know what I didn't ask you. Yeah. How, if people want to get involved, how should they contact you? If they're if they're looking for projects, that if they want renovations done in their home, how should they get in touch with you?
Call me. My direct phone number, cell would be the easiest way to get me. Call, text, whatever's easier for you. 516-473-1336. You can email glgcontracting1@gmail.com, and that's the number 1. Or go onto the Instagram page, and you could DM. So the Instagram page is GLG Contracting, and you could send a direct message, and someone will respond, I'd say, within 24 hours.
Excellent. That's an outstanding standard. So, Lauren, the name of this podcast is Wine Down with Kev. Mm-hmm. I started this podcast over a year ago because I'm a nonstop type A personality that can do anything except for relax. And that's what this was supposed to be, a chance to relax and wind down and just kick it and talk to people. Mm-hmm. How do you wind down? How do you wind down from being a mom, a business owner, entrepreneur, sister, all the things you named at the beginning? How do you wind down?
So we talked about this briefly earlier. My wind down comes from my home. So you said people are going to be utilizing their homes more, could be. So I strongly believe that where you live, where you sleep, where you spend the majority of your life outside of work, it should be your kingdom, whatever that equates to, whether that means you're a tiny house person or you want to live in a castle. So I just moved to Eastern Suffolk County. I purchased a house that has everything I never knew I wanted. The land, my daughter can run around. We have a trampoline in the backyard. I was walking down the street the other day, and I was pleasantly surprised by watching 6 to 7 wild turkeys.
Wild turkeys.
Walk past me. Like, what are you doing in our neighborhood? This is the wilderness. Walk past me gracefully. I don't want to sound like I'm being too corny, but it's like a fairy tale, because the deer will actually walk up to you, not touch you, but walk close enough where you would think they should run. But, it's just the animals are friendly, if that makes sense.
Well, you moved into their neighborhood. That's a good thing.
Yes. And the people are just, because the area that I live in, because it's a small town, and I think this has to do with it, everyone is just so friendly.
Nice.
It's just, when you walk down the street, drive down the street, and everyone goes out of their way to wave and smile.
Yes.
It's that kind of neighborhood. So that's how I wind down, just sitting in the backyard, putting my feet up, reading a book, and just breathing and relaxing, and watching my daughter grow. That's the best feeling in the world, is watching my daughter just grow and just be her.
Outstanding. I love that. So take that, Jewel, for how to wind down. What are you reading now?
So I was reading Obama's book, but it is quite long.
It's very long.
It is quite long. He is long-winded, but I think that's necessary. For him, it is necessary because he wants us to get it. So that's what I was reading. I have quite a few books. So I'll say this is a book that I recently read, This One Thing. Okay, This One Thing, that's another good book. Mm-hmm. And I was going to say 48 Laws of Power, but I have that. I have mixed feelings about that, so I kind of want to take that back. I do. I have mixed feelings about it, but I'd say the Obama's book is the most recent of my reads.
Good, yeah. And Obama's book is it's long. Very. I'm listening to it. I don't have a lot of time when I'm stationary to read a physical book.
Yeah.
but I have drive time between West Babylon and Queens every day, so I'm listening to books now.
Audible's
and I
amazing.
tried listening to Obama's book. And you know a lot of his stories. Some parts are real funny, especially him and Michelle's struggle days before they arrived. That's very entertaining. But a lot of the stories of his presidency, you kind of know most of it because we lived it. So it was a hard listen for me as well. But right now, I mentioned it earlier, Shonda Rhimes, The Year of Yes. Excellent. Listen. I'll say listen, not physically reading it, but it's a great listen. It's great company for me. And definitely something that helps me to wind down as well.
Yeah. I like to read. I actually have a book club. So
you have a book club. What's the name of the book club?
We don't have a name. It's on WhatsApp. So
okay.
Yeah, it's book club.
Okay.
So there's about 40 people, and selfishly, I created it to force myself to read more.
Okay.
But then I figured it would be easier, or it's easier to get people engaged when they're choosing the books themselves. So everyone will send me, every month they'll send me, or every 3 months they'll send quite a few books. And then I'll narrow it down, and we read the books that are suggested by more than one person and that have good ratings.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's...
So you guys, we share, we choose the books, everybody reads it, and we discuss it over WhatsApp?
WhatsApp, yeah. So it's not the best way to discuss, I do know quite a few of the people that are in the group personally, so we will speak about it. But, most of the discussion takes place on WhatsApp, which it's very convenient also because you can kind of chime in, chime out when you want to also. And now with the phones, you can speak text. So you can leave your full audio message as to what your feelings are, what you thought about a particular part in a book. So...
That's just another amazing thing. So we opened up, you talked about networking, and now we're closing up and you're talking about a book club, which to me is a great way to stay fresh and talk with people about fresh ideas and just staying current and getting outside of yourself. I think it's very important to get out of your head and listen to someone else and get into what someone else is doing and get away from yourself for a minute because we have to. We have to.
Yeah, I agree.
Lauren, you have been absolutely a wonderful guest. I think everybody will agree. Absolutely phenomenal woman. Very, very worthy of being here. You've made this episode very fun. Final thoughts to share before we close down?
Well, first, I just want to say thank you for even considering me to be on this podcast because I've listened to quite a few, and I'm completely blown away by the guests that you had. So the fact that you thought I should be on this, I'm humbled. I do want to say thank you to also you and Nisi and to Kevin because Kevin is the one who even referred you to me to use the company. And I do want to just share a funny story. I think about this all the time. I couldn't wait to say this. So when Kevin was he just finished the basketball career, not coaching, but him playing, and he was between jobs, so he wasn't sure what he wanted to do. And at the time, I was with the insurance company.
Yes.
And I said, Kevin, just come to the insurance company. I'll get you in because, I was close with the, some of the higher ups. I said, just give me the resume. So he said, okay, let me talk to my dad. So he said, he went to you and he said, Dad, what do you think? And you said, well, how much does she make? And he said, $150,000. He said, you cut him off mid-sentence and said, well, what are we talking about then? What are we talking about then? And Kevin reenacted that story to me.
Why are we discussing this?
Right. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Right.
What are the other details in this story, and why doesn't Lauren have your resume? Yeah. When it comes to dollars and cents,
right.
I'm a pretty emotionally detached person. When the numbers are right, go get the numbers. There's nothing else to discuss. What is I'm not even interested in hearing about the downside of this opportunity. No, that's me 100%.
And I use that saying now. I'll use it because it became part of one of my sayings. What are we talking about?
Why are we still
right.
discussing it? Now, I firmly believe that people should have ideas in their head. They should have very specific numbers. So if you were to offer me a number right now, I should know what that number is. I should not be like, I need to discuss it. No. To this day, I have magic numbers. I'll make you laugh.
Yeah.
For years, many years ago, I'm a never was as an athlete. All my kids are pretty good athletes, students, what have you. But I'm a never was. But since I had so many NBA aspirational dreams, I used to walk around with the NBA minimum salary in my wallet as a goal because I said, well, I'm never going to play. I didn't play any high school. I didn't play college. So I'm probably not going to make it there, but I certainly would like their money.
Yeah.
So that number is there. And to this day, for several situations, just say the number to me. Everybody has a number. If you don't have a number, find out what that number is. So when that opportunity presents itself, you're ready to act, and don't be shocked.
Yeah, that's where Kevin gets it from now. So he'll call me once every 6 months. What's your number?
Yes,
because the numbers can change.
The numbers always change because your 60-day, your 90-day, your 1 year, your 5 year, 10-year plans, they're moving targets. But you have to know what that number is in advance. So when that opportunity shows up, you have to know the answer. You can't debate because the next person is going to take that opportunity.
Absolutely.
If you're not sure. So be clear in your vision, clear in your goals, and thank you. That's a funny and embarrassing story. I'm glad you shared it. People, if you haven't done so already, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't commented already, comment on what's in your glass for a chance to win a free bottle of wine. If you like what you saw, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, tune in, stay tuned. This will wrap up season 2, but we're looking forward to bringing you back some wonderful guests in season 3. One time for Lauren. Hey, thanks for tuning in to watch Wine Down with Kev. If you like what you see, please click below to subscribe. Also, click on notifications. I want you to be aware of everything that's coming to the Kevin Spann YouTube channel. This will include everything that I stand for: information, inspiration, and insurance. You can check out past episodes of Wine Down with Kev. You'll see my new podcast, The Real Estate Trifecta, that I do with some great guys, and also a bunch of other wonderful things that I have in my head that's going to come to video to you very soon. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Notification. It's all free. It's all fun. It's all good. Thank you.